In 1997, I was released from Broad River Correctional Institution in Columbia, South Carolina. The night before I was released, I told myself, I said, self, you've given almost 10 years of your life to incarceration. Between jail and between prison time, it's almost added up to 10 years. And I made an oath to myself at that time that I would never come back to prison again. So the next day when I walked out those gates, I turned around and I told that prison, I will never be back. And I meant it. And from that day until 2013, I have not been back. When I came home, I was confused. I didn't know really which direction to go in. I knew that I wasn't gonna put myself in a position to go back to prison, but I didn't know what was gonna happen for me. So I was being very optimistic and I was maintaining. When I first got locked up, which was like 1986, there was an OG in there, you know, what you call him, the old head. And I remember him saying, look, you done messed your social security number up and you done messed your government name up. So I'm telling you what you gotta do from now on. You gotta be an entrepreneur. So whatever you do, you gotta be an entrepreneur. I don't care if you cut grass, I don't care if you clean windows, but whatever you do, you gotta work for yourself from now on. So that was like his wisdom of him being an old man to the younger generation. And I always remembered that because he was right. Because ever since that happened, that was like 1986. Every time I tried to get a job, I had several girlfriends that were in the corporate world. And they would always try to give me a job, and I never could because of my government name and my social. Once you get in trouble and you become a product of the system, you start getting incarcerated, it's a wrap. Society doesn't really respect you anymore. They don't look at it like you made a mistake. They don't judge it that way. So I was never able to I tried to get a job working for an electric company, working for cable, working for all these things. But I would always make it past different people, but never HR. They would always say, sorry, HR said no. And I would always be discouraged. And that made me go into the hood and hustle. That made me go get money. One of my friends told me before I got out, he said, well, it's only two things right now that I feel like are the biggest money makers. And he said, that's marijuana and that's the black market business. So I said, well, what's the black market business? He said, you know, the piracy of music and film. And of course, marijuana. So when I came home, those are the only two options that I had. And those are the two options that I ventured out for. So I went to New York and I left Columbia, South Carolina to meet up with some Jamaicans that I knew. And I knew that they would have the best prices for me and they would have the best thing for me. So when I went to New York, one of my friends, my man Dog, you know, he forced me to go out because at that time I had just came home. I really wasn't into hanging out. Like I had no plans on going to nightclubs. Like my life was just burnt out. I had already did my thing. So Dog says, nah, you gonna go out tonight. So I tried to get out of it, like I ain't got nothing to wear. He was like, well, I'm gonna call somebody. So he ended up taking me out. So we went, hung out all night. At the end of the night, it was about 3 or 4 in the morning. And some females was trying to take me with them. And but my peoples was intoxicated. So I said, nah, baby, I gotta go take my mans and them home. So they even told me to go ahead, but that's not what I wanted to do. So me taking my mans and them home, we got in the whip and I'm driving. So I went to take out a CD to put in another CD and a song came on the radio that we didn't have on CD. So we rocked to the song for a minute and right when I went to put the CD in, a commercial came on the radio and it jumped out inside the car and it was to the effect of, yo, you think you got what it takes to be in the business? Well, Hype Williams wants to meet you. New feature film, bam, 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 bam. So at that moment, I said, yo, a film? Movies? I had always told myself prior to hearing that commercial, yo, every time I watch the movie, I'll be like, yo, I can do this. Yo, I can do this better than them. So, and at the same time, everybody in the car, which is my mans in them, and we from New York. So for a brother from New York to, you know, to come sincere at you, it mean a lot. So my man Dog said, yo, Kev, you should go to that. You can do that. You a movie. And I was like, then my man in the back, my man Cat, was like, yo, every time I see a movie, I'm like, yo, my man Michael can do this way better. Then my other man, Puff, he was like, yo, remember them girls from Jersey? They actress model chicks. They always ask about you. They always say, why your man is not in the business? And I was like, then I told myself, I was like, self, we gonna do this. The day I went to the open call, I actually made it there at the last moment because there was a sister that came outside and said, this is the last call. Anybody that is auditioning today, this is the last call. And I had already walked down the block and already passed people with their heads down and people that were very sad because I'm able to detect that because the years of me being incarcerated, it helps me read people with their body language, with their attitude, with their eyes. It's a lot of things that if you just observe people, you can see. So I was already kind of intimidated actually about the whole situation. But what broke my trance was the sister that came out and said, anybody that's auditioning. And I remember when she handed me the paper, she kind of like looked me up and down. So I'm like, what's up with her? But I didn't know. She was a casting director. So when I went inside, I immediately retreated from the open call. When I was incarcerated, one of my favorite shows was America's Most Wanted. There was an episode where John Walsh went to Fort Lauderdale. He was in Dade County, and they had a problem trying to get several people that were warrant people. So what he did was they put all these fictitious flyers in different liquor stores and different areas offering big jobs, offering a lot of money to work on fishing boats. It was something of the nature of there's an increase in the fish and we want to hire something. And people went to this local hangar, which is like an airport, which, you know, for like small planes. And basically they got all these people to come there. And when I'm watching this episode, they're hiding behind like fake walls and they're like literally laughing because they're seeing all the guys they've been warning. So I immediately, my instincts kicked in and I slipped the paper in my back pocket and I tried to retreat out of the door. And that's when the sister popped up again and said, hey, excuse me, aren't you auditioning? And I said, nah. I was just bringing my man because I actually brought one of my cousins with me. So I was like, nah, just bringing him. And then she gave me the. So the sister says, look, I know what you are and I know what you do. And if you keep doing what you do, you're gonna go back where you've been or you're gonna go somewhere where you can't come back from. And a chill went through my body and I froze. And at that moment, there was the street and there was the business. That was one of the biggest decisions I ever made in my life. Because now that it's 2013 and I can reflect back to that moment, it's incredible. Because the subliminal message was, yo, Michael, here's the street. And here's what got you everything that you got. This is what got you stabbed. This is what got you shot. This is what got you incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? Because there's two feelings that I don't like. It's the feeling of them telling you to turn around, and when they put cuffs on you, there is a moment of, it's a game over. And there is a moment of, I'll be out of here tomorrow. I didn't want that feeling no more. That hurts. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of equivalent of having the woman you love and the woman you like, and you're trying to keep them apart. It's kind of like that feeling. And I had just didn't want that feeling anymore. So basically, it was that moment that that my life changed. And I told the woman, I said, you know, I still try to get out of it. I said, well, you want too much information. She said, nah, just give me your name and number. They're gonna take your picture. And I said, all right, I'm gonna do it. That woman was my angel. God sent that woman my way. And that woman's name is Jackie Brown Carmen. And I owe everything to that woman. Because if she wouldn't have said what she said to me, I would have went outside, I would have waited on my cousin to come out, I would have went to see my Jamaicans, and I would have went back down south. That's what I would have did, but I didn't do that. I listened to her, and I proceeded to continue with the open call. The open call consists of the director, Hype Williams, which if they showed me 20 people, I wouldn't have known who Hype Williams was, and the writer, Anthony Bowden. They both were there. And you proceed to the X, and they spar with you. They just felt you out. And the first question was, what's up? Where you from? I said, peace. My name Michael. I'm from the Veldt. I'm from Roosevelt, LI, Nassau. They was like, okay. What do you do? I said, I hustle. So they kind of like gigged on me, like, you hustle? Like, everybody hustle. What you mean you hustle? I was like, yo, I get money. It was like, what you mean you get money? How you getting money? I said, I'm down south getting money. My whole life I've been down south getting money. It was like, where down south? I was like, I get money in Columbia, South Carolina, in the metro. So it was like, okay. We had a few name drops. Next thing you know, we had a few things in common. And all of a sudden, I heard them say, yeah, I like him. So they put the thumb up, and they told me to go this way. The whole time I was there, like, nobody went that way. Everybody went that way. So, you know, the whole production team, which was like, they were all, you know, delighted. They took several pictures of me from different angles. And I'm like, wow. I went from mug shots, like, you know, to like production shots. Like, I mean, people were taking multiple pictures of me. And they gave me some lines, and they said, look, you're gonna learn these lines, and you're gonna come to this address for the audition. And the paper said, congratulations, you've been selected to audition for Hype Williams' film Belly. So I just walked out of there, and it was a triumph. It was victorious. And I was like, wow. So basically, I was given an opportunity now to go legit, and I really was happy about it. So I left the audition. I read the lines. I just really was excited. So I went home. I rehearsed the lines. I learned them inside out, and I was really excited. So at my first audition, the rude awakening of the industry happened. I'm sitting here at this first audition, and I'm in a room full of my #1 rapper, one of my greatest actors, and I'm like, wow. You know, I'm in my late 20s, and I'm in the game right now. Like, you know, I grew up fast, and I'm just excited to be around these people. So I'm very happy, and I'm like, hey, how y'all doing? And each person looked at me like, what you talking about, Willis? Like, I mean, I wasn't trying to carry on a conversation. I was just merely like, hey, and they were just like, and I was like, wow, like, I purchased your stuff, and like, you can't even fake like you like me right now, like, be like, what's happening? But I was like, okay, I see what's happening. But it gave me more fuel, it gave me more fire to like go in there and do my thing. So the opportunity, see, the people that didn't know that, I was thankful. I was grateful for this opportunity because they didn't know my background. That's why you never assume somebody. You never judge a book by their cover, because I was thankful to be put in that kind of position, and I was hungry. I was very hungry. And I put myself in a position to better myself. So I was taking this serious. So when I went in, I thought I did wrong because I felt the energy in the room, but it was because I did well. And I did so well, I knew my lines without needing my paper. And at the time, as being a rookie and still wet behind the ears, I didn't know that that meant a lot. Because when somebody gives you lines, everybody has to basically hold them in the audition. I didn't need my lines. So my first audition went very, very well. And I was selected for a second audition, and then a third audition, and then a fourth audition. And the phone call came. That phone call came. Yeah. It came, and it was like, you know, hello. And I waited by the phone, I was waiting for this call. And I didn't go nowhere. I sat by the phone. I protected the phone. And that phone call came. It was in the evening. It was about 5-ish. I answered the phone. I heard like a stock exchange going on. I could tell there was a lot of people that was in the background. And they was like, can I speak to McCall or something? I'm like, nah, this is Michael. And they was like, hey, Michael, this is Big Dog Productions. And we would like to congratulate you. You've been selected for the role of Killer in Hype Williams' film Belly. And I was like, wow. Like, yeah. I was like, yo, you don't understand. It was like, man, it was like everything for that. It was just like that moment was just incredible. And I told myself, I said, see, you made a conscious decision to do the right thing. And you put your best foot forward to do the right thing. And you were trying, you were just congratulated. You were just there. It was given to you. And I said, thank you, Most High. This is incredible. And when I said that to the Most High, it was like he just blessed me with that. And right after I got selected for Belly, I got a phone call for a movie called Love Goggles. I don't know where it came from. Somebody said, hey, I heard you're a cool guy. You're in the game. We want to put you in this film. It's called Love Goggles. And I said, okay, cool. So I went to the movie Love Goggles. My first day on set was a film called Love Goggles. It was amazing. And it was just like, wow, I'm in the business. And right when I was on the set of Love Goggles, it was a 2-day call. Now, in the midst of auditioning for Belly, I met a lot of people, a lot of rappers, a lot of entertainers, and they was feeling my style. Like, yo, they were inviting me to parties, like, and it was incredible because to this day, I'm always blown away by people that are celebrities or people that's in powerful positions that cling to me, and they just feel my rhythm, and they give me opportunities, and they don't even know that nothing about me, but they know I'm official. And then when they find out things later, it's like, wow, but you chose me off my rhythm. You looked me up and down. You felt my rhythm, and we sparred and we spoke, and that's how it happened. So on the set of Love Goggles, it was a two-day call. I get a page, and it's Jim Jones saying, yo, Cam throwing this video called Horse and Carriage. Want you to come through. And I'm like, Killer? Love Goggles. Killer? Cam? Horse and Carriage. Mason better. We gonna rise to the top. Yeah, Love Goggles didn't catch that day 2 of me. I went to Killer Cam. I went to do my first music video, Horse and Carriage. And I had a ball. And I got cut in the frame. I didn't know what that meant at the time. So this is how I know what it meant. I'm on the train in Manhattan, and these kids is sizing me up, and they like, yo, ain't you in that Killer Cam video? And I'm like, yeah, you seen it? And they like, yo, you was killing it. And I'm like, wow. So in the midst of my travels amongst the 5 boroughs, people was like on it. So next thing you know, my phone goes off again. And it's a casting director calling me. It says, "Hey, Mikal, would you be interested in doing a video for Jay-Z?" I was like, wow. She said, "Yeah, the song is called Hard Knock Life, and I need some basketball players." I was like, wow. I was like, "Jay-Z? Sure." She says, and I said, "Do you need any more basketball players?" Because you know me, I got raised up knowing like, yo, you help others. So when she said basketball players, I was like, well, yeah, I got some brothers that play basketball because I was playing in this tournament in my neighborhood at Centennial Park. So I knew a few ball players, and she said, you know what? Actually, yeah, I can use some ball players. She said, well, I said, well, how many do you need? She said, well, you're my first call. I said, okay, well, she said, well, I need nine more. I said, done deal. She said, are you kidding me? I said, no, I can give you 9 basketball players. So she says, all right, fine. But then she called me right back and said, I need only 8 because I promised one of my friends I would give him a slot. No problem. So I went to my neighborhood, I went to the park, and I told all the top ball players, I was like, yo, look, got this Jay-Z video. It was like, word, Jay-Z. I booked 8 of the best basketball players in my neighborhood. So I also found out a thing when I did this. In this business, people have either a fear of failure or a fear of success. And I say that because the morning of the shoot, the 8 basketball players were ghosts. Called them, no answer. Paged them, no answer. Knocked on their doors with the cars outside, no answer. So I'm sitting here, having to be on a video shoot in Marcy Projects in 2 hours with no basketball players. None. 0. And I'm shocked. So I said, damn. Check on my boys. So I go to my man Dog's house, and guess who's there? 8 of my partners, 8 of my homies, 8 of my real brethren, 8 of my people that I should have booked initially. But I tried to go, to get the dream team, you know what I'm saying, and bring like, what? LeBron, Kobe, Durant, Westbrook, what? But you know what? That would have made it whack. It actually worked out better by bringing Dog in them because that's what they were looking for, a real project game with that kind of feel. So it worked out actually better the way it worked out. So anyway, I get to Dog's house. Guess what, y'all? What up? We going to Marcy. Ain't nobody going to Marcy. Who we going to Marcy for? Jay-Z's video, The Hard Knock Life. They like, word. I said, nope, the way y'all are, let's go. We late. So we jumped in the MPV. That shit was down. I remember we had to get out the driveway. So I remember we got out the car, the truck, MPV pulls out the back. We all jumped in and we drive to Marcy. Find the video shoot. This is my word. I've been around some serious money getters. I have seen some jewelry in my time. Because being in South Carolina hustling, you got Florida dudes down there. You got people from Ohio. Ohio, whoo! I don't know what y'all doing up there, boy. Y'all getting it. It's some real dudes that you meet. So the first time I met Jay-Z, I got to the video shoot. I checked in, said, yeah, the basketball players are here. And they said he was shooting the beginning of the video, which is the deli scene. This is my word. When I turned the corner and looked into the bodega, I got blinded. Yo, the nigga blinded me. Yo, Jay-Z blinded me. This is like 99, yo, like 98, and he blinded me. I was like, oh, yo, where Hov at? And then he came out of the glistening, and I was like, yo, Jay, what's happening? My name Michael. I'm here. I'm one of the basketball players. So he smelt me. He leaned back. He smelt me, and he was like, all right, what's happening? He was like, yo, shooting this scene right now. Give me a minute. I'll holler at you. Straight business. Shocked. Like, wow, that's Jay. So all my boys was like, dogging them was like, yo, you just touched Jay-Z. I was like, yo, that's Jay. Yo, he right there. So when he finished the shot, he came out the bodega. And I remember people was, he likes to, people's hood. So they was like, so somebody came with a question at him. I remember this like it was yesterday. They said, yo, Jay, yo, what'd it take for me to make it like you? And Jay said, tell you something, shorty. You got socialism and you got professionalism. Be professional and stay on your hustle. That's how you get your money. It's like, wow. So the day proceeds to go on. And my role changed in the video. For some reason, somebody came up to me and said, hey, Mikkel, there's been a change. So I'm like, what? They're like, Jay and them don't want you to be a basketball player. They want you to be one of Jay's homies. I was like, word? What do you mean Jay's homies? Like, we got this scene that they're gonna be on the stoop. And we want you to be one of the stoop guys. So I was like, yo, I'm basketballed out. Like, a stoop scene? Like, I mean, it was like, yeah, it's gonna be a featured scene. It's gonna be you and Jay, and you're gonna be on the stoop. He's gonna be doing front flower seeds, and I'm like, wow. So, for some reason, I picked up the phone. I called a friend of mine. I said, yo, what's happening, Mom? She was this model I was dating at the time. You know, I was like her boy toy. Like, I was like her, carry her bags and like, you know, like hang out with her in Soho. And, you know, it's just, I was like, she had an NBA dude. You know, I was like her little jump off, you know, but we were cool. It was cool with me. She always gave me money. Like, we hung out, went to nice restaurants. Like, I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, so I called her and was like, yo, look, I'm in Marcy right now. I need to borrow some money. She was like, for what? I said, they just gave me this scene in Jay-Z's video. She was like, you kidding me? I was like, yeah. She said, and they going to put me, but I'm athletic out. I need to get fly. She was like, where you at? I was like, I'm in Marcy. She jumped in the cab from Park Slope, Brooklyn, and came over and pulled up in the cab and handed me $500. I went to Tom, Dick, and Harry, walked in and was like, yo, you know, Tom, Dick, and Harry's this big store in Brooklyn. Jay always, you know, represents in his first days. And I said, yo, I got this video shoot with Jay-Z. And he just told me that I'm in the video. So he goes, oh man, you working with Jay-Z? Man, I got something fly, just came in. He gave me these chuckers that had just came in. They were official. And I was like, yeah. Already had the Coogee. And he gave me some jean shorts that just came out, some Meccas that was official. So I totally remember. And I actually went back to the shoot, and I walked into Jay's trailer. Security let me in. I said, yo, Jay, is this cool? Showing the outfit, and he says, he gave me the blank stare, right? And I was shook. And he says, yo, you think this your video, Playboy? And I was like, oh, shit. He's like, nah, I'm just playing with you. Yo, you official, you look fly. I was like, all right, cool. So Jay gave me the stamp, and we go set up the scene. I'm sitting down on the stoop with Jay-Z. Everybody's around me. All these people with lights, and they're doing all this stuff, taking pictures and everything. And right when we get ready to shoot the scene, a car pulls up, blaring music. And it's Dame Dash. He jumps out the whip. He's like, yo, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, that's Dame. He's like, yo, blah, blah, blah. He kicked it with the people, and he says, so where we at? And they said, we getting ready to do this scene. So they go huddle up. Then this white dude comes over to me and was like, hey, Mikkel, sorry. Some things have changed. They're gonna move you out and they're gonna put Dame in. So I got tough skin. I knew that I couldn't have got angry. I mean, I'm a hothead. I'm even kind of like a bitch at times. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I get crazy. But I knew that I couldn't let that out. So I kind of was like, all right. And I sat back and they let Dame get in there. And that's the scene I was supposed to have been in. But it was all good. I ain't sweat it. It was nothing to me. So they moved me around and we did a dice scene. And I actually made the cut in the video, so it was cool. So after we did our scene, I went to see my cousin and Dog and them do their scene. And they're the basketball players. And that's my man Dog that's playing D up on my cousin with his jewels all out, like, what? All up in the camera. So it was a good day for us. We drove back to LI. It was all love. When the video came out, Dog was like, yo, he was the mate. Him and my cousin was like, they had him right in the frame together. And then my man T, he got off the dunk. It was funny because on that video, they gave my cousin, the same one that didn't make the open call, they gave him 4 or 5 times to actually dunk. And he could not dunk on the court. Like, he just kept getting stuck on the rim. And I'm like, and my man T came through on the first take and was like, just flew through the air. It was like, boom. It was a win. And that video put us really on like the map. So right after I did that video, I got a phone call for DMX's video. Because hanging out on the set of Belly, when I first got on the set, the first day I hung out was the first day of shooting. It was at the tunnel. And the writers, I remember, I listened very, very well. And people need to understand this in society, that sound travels. And when you're speaking in front of people, stuff they pick up. And I remember always when I auditioned for Belly, the first, second, third, fourth audition, they always laughed and said, yo, he remind me so much of X. And I was like, I caught that a few times, like, he remind me of X. So I was like, so basically, the first day of shooting, the writer and one of the producers was like, Mikhail, come here. They was like, yo, D, come here. So I'm like, D. So they was like, yo, D, this the nigga I was talking about. So D goes, uh-huh. And he looks at me. And he smells me. Like, not really, but, you know, smells me like, And he's like, what's happening, family? I'm like, I'm good. He's like, yo, I want to build with you. I'm like, huh? He's like, yo, come back to my trailer when we finish this shot. Like, all right. So after the shot, we go to DMX's trailer. Now, I ended up hanging out with D for about 2 months. But at the time, he played this little trivial game with people. Like, when people came around us, he would throw questions at you that really has no answer. It's just how you feel about it or how you see it. And that would determine if you were able to be around him or not. And I saw so many people fail that test. So, but being around them and being around D and being around Y, which are the people that own Ruff Ryder, because you have DMX, and then you have D, which is Darren, and then you have Y, which is his brother. That's Ruff Ryder. So Darren Dean and Joaquin Dean, that's the official dude. That's the real D. And DMX is X around them. So I got to meet them and hang around them. So I got a phone call for the Ruff Ryder Anthem shoot. I said, the Ruff Ryder Anthem, that's my joint. So it was like, stop, drop, you know. I was like, yeah, that's my joint. So they said, we're doing a fictitious basketball scene where y'all gonna be at the Rucker. And y'all gonna win the game and have like a triumph moment. So they had all the ball players that was the hottest Rucker players. It was a triumph scene. So the director had the camera above us. And he said, all right, right now, I want y'all like, you won the game and I want y'all all like, and I'm like, okay. So the camera's above us. So we did one shot where I'm like, I'm all up in it like, yeah. So I said, what can I do to really kill this? And there was this chick there, it was Puerto Rican, used to hang out with Ruff Ryder. I said, come here, Mom. I threw her up on top of my shoulders, like, cause she wanted to get in the camera too. So I said, well, if I got her on my shoulders right now, this is gonna do something, you know what I'm saying? So boom, I just thought of just rocking with it. And then they kept moving the camera up. So I said, you know what? I'm brolic enough, you know, I'm strong enough. I start jumping up. She was like, yo, it was crazy. So they was like, give us more intensity. So I got more brolic with it. That one scene in that Ruff Ryder Anthem video ended up carrying over into almost every single solitary thing that they have done. Just recently, I was watching Behind the Music on DMX, like 2 or 3 years ago. And about 20 minutes into it, I was like, you know what? Yo, this would be crazy if they showed some footage from like back in the day when I was around them. And right when I said that, bam! There I was, my clip in his triumph moment. When they were like, yeah, D got his life together, he got his mind right, and he got on the track, and now it's like, rah! And they showed me like, bam! And I'm like, whoa! So I paused it, and I sat there, and I just was like, wow, something I did in 99 is in front of me in like 2011. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow. So I let the TV go, I took it off pause, and when I did that, it came right back again. Bam! They gave my set. I said, really, yo? This is official. I mean, official. And I was just blown away. So when I started in this game, it was belly. It was straight up Cameron, horse and carriage. And I went into the DMX video and I went to the Jay-Z video. Those 4 projects showed me, Michael, you can take this game over. This is you. I was considered what you call a live dude. I'm from New York. I grew up in a hard knock era where it's strictly real. When I grew up, you had to be a thug. You couldn't front like you was a thug. You couldn't be a tough guy. You couldn't get away with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not proud of what I did. I just grew up around a time when there was no opportunities available, where it was limited resources. There were not too many things to do. So I was brought up around individuals that was like, you have to be an entrepreneur, you know? And I have a hard knock life edge that I have to win. I was raised around 2 types of environments, the illegitimate and the legitimate. I always been an entrepreneur. I grew up selling waters. We would buy the waters for about 4 or 5 cents a piece. We would sell them back for $1. I would purchase Heinekens, and we used to go on the beach at night and drag our coolers and sell them for $5 a pop. When I was 12 years old, I lied and said I was 16 years old. And I went and got a job at Roosevelt Raceway, which is in Long Island. I met 2 brothers by the name of Wayne and Russ. They owned a company called King Croissant. They sold croissants. They bought the butter ones for like 5 cents a piece. They sold them for $1.25. They bought the chocolate ones for about 12 cents, and they sold them for $1.50. They bought the cream cheese ones and sold them for $1.75. They cost them $0.25 a piece. And I sat there and worked for them for almost 3 years. So it was like I did Belly, I did the Cameron Horse and Carriage, did the Jay-Z Hard Knock Life, and the DMX Rough Rider Anthem. Those 4 projects showed me, Michael, you can do this. Look at you. People were confronting me that were like, nobody ever makes the cut in videos. Like, everybody hits the editing floor. Like, that's just the norm. Like, you know, and I was taking it for granted. I was like, well, I'm only in it for a second. They was like, do you know how huge that is? And I was like, no. So a lot of things started coming to me, and I said, Michael, this is it. So those 4 projects showed me the game, and it let me know I can do this. And with the mind of a leader and with powerful, I just smashed. I just went off. I said, yo, I'm gonna do this. And my grandmother, God bless her soul, Lena Bell, always told me, be 1 hour early. She said, when you 1 hour early, you are on time. And I said, I'm gonna make sure I'm on time. And that, being on time, helped me get so much. And I started just doing videos, movies. I did the movie Ice Grill, you know, and that was big for me. Ice Grill was major. It took over New York. It was just so many opportunities, and I took advantage of everything. I went pedal to the metal. I was diligent. I was resilient. I was hungry. You know, I wanted to show my friends and family, you know, I wanted to show myself. I was proud, so I attacked the industry. And it just started opening up for me. I was in Trace magazine. You know, it was like I had opportunities. I went to 3 auditions at Wilhelmina Talent. 3 auditions. It was incredible. And do you know why I didn't get in Wilhelmina's Talent? I made a conscious decision to be myself in this business. I said, I'm gonna be myself. I want to be other people, but I'm comfortable being me. And I said, being something that you're not is uncomfortable. And I promised myself that I wanted to be comfortable. And there was enough work for me to be myself. So after my 3rd audition at Wilhelmina, they said, okay, we need to do you a reel. I said, well, what's a reel? She says, well, a reel is where we can get you work as an actor. So I said, okay. He said, you have to learn a scene from a movie. What's one of your favorite movies? And I said, Juice. She was like, no, I mean something else. I was like, yeah, Juice. She was like, anything else? She said, what about A Raisin in the Sun? I was like, what is A Raisin in the Sun? She said, well, here's a list. She gave me three movies. She said, you have to learn at least 3 minutes of this movie, and we want you to do this movie. I said, okay. I said, well, can I pick my own? She said, well, I think you should stick to this. Well, me at the time, you know, I'm hanging out with rappers. I'm running around with DMX, and then I'm running with DJ LS1. I'm hanging out with Onyx. Like, I mean, you know, I'm doing a lot. So I'm like, I'm myself right now. So rule number one, in this business, listen. When they tell you something, they mean it. But nah, not me. So what do? Go rent those movies. I put them on. I'm like, what? No. So I throw in Juice. So today, I learned my best scene. When Tupac's in the window, he's like, you know we ain't shit, right? That's the scene I did. So I learned that scene. Go to Wilhelmina. The whole staff is there. It's a big thing. It reminds me of like when a rapper, like when I watch Kanye and Jay and them, well, really Kanye, and they go to like the label and they're there on the table and everybody's there and they're rapping. It reminded me of that. So that's what I did. So I go in there and they have the cameras on and they press go and everybody's there smiling and I'm like, we ain't shit. We run from Old Man Quilly and you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm even playing I'm playing Raheem. What you mean we ain't shit? You heard what I said, we ain't shit. So I'm on my multiple Philip Seymour House. I'm bugging out in there. So I'm making so now. I remember when everybody left. It's a scene where Tupac says, you know, he's like, you think you ain't shit? He's like, nigga, I tell your mama you ain't shit. So I took it to another level. I said, I tell your mama's mama you ain't shit, motherfucker. And when I said that, the room cleared out. Hey, what the fuck is going on? The end result was out of a room full of 12 to 14 people, only 3 of them went in there. It was the rainbow guy that was like, they ain't ready for you, boo. Your time coming, baby. With his little bow tie. And it was the urban sister. She was like, that was good. That was real good. And it was one of the 2 people that I initially connected with. She was like, I like it. She was like, it's just the wrong time. And I blew my opportunity to be in Wilhelmina Talent. But I mean, I'm not sweating it, but it's just something that happened, you know what I'm saying? And it was a decision that I made. And they really weren't ready for me at that time.